Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair, and it's time for some more car booty. Yeah, this is getting really regular on a Sunday now. I know some of you guys can set your watch by these videos because they come out so regularly. Okay, so let's start as usual. We have one computer here, beige ATX case, plenty of corrosion on the back of it, but if you've seen the videos, this happens here. This is another one with 4 of the USBs, little composite video or something like that. There's a graphics card in. So I think with a fair degree of confidence, we can say this is another P4. I'm just finding so many of those machines, possibly an AMD. I hope this is a retro machine, yeah, with AGP, but in fairness, I don't know. But, as you know, one of my regular phrases is there's only one way to find out. And the way is, of course, to take the top off. So, guys, if you want to play along, if you want to guess now, comments what you think this is. I'm saying a P4 because that's the most common thing I find like that. Well, let's have a look. It certainly is. I'm surprised how common these P4s are. These 478 machines, socket 478, yeah. Asus motherboard in this one. It has a NVIDIA graphics card of some sort or other. See it in there with a heatsink and fan on. Whenever I see AGP cards with a fan on, especially like this one, because it has an extra connector there, like a Molex connector for power, which means it draws more wattage than would be supplied from the AGP slot, or maybe they just wanted to be double sure, yeah. It could be something interesting, but we'll find out. Maybe some bad capacitors, yeah, these ones that are gone. Let's take all this apart and then let's have a good look at it. And here we have it. This looks quite clean, actually. Not bad. Just this little row of capacitors here seem to have failed. The rest look okay. Oh, there might be one more there, actually. Yeah, one more there. What value are these? Well, you see that this one is different from these two. So these are 1000 microfarad, 16 volts. So we can say for sure these are on the 12 volt supply rail, and this is a 6.3. The same as these. 1500 microfarad. So these are on the V core, which is the output from these two inductors. Because this is a switching voltage regulator, or VRM, this is where all the high frequency is, so that's why these capacitors have failed. Also, these are low ESR, they're designed to work in this type of circuit. And around the time this was made, there was a lot of defective capacitors produced, basically due to some industrial espionage, it turns out. So one company stole the formula from another capacitor manufacturer, but they only got a partial formula, and they made all these, and then we had a plague of failing capacitors. So that's the actual truth behind all of that. So with the electrolytics, it's not age generally which causes them to fail. It's capacitors, certainly of this type, from a certain era that fail, okay? Older ones didn't have the problem, they were properly made. Newer ones don't have the problem, okay? In general. So, motherboard KBU-X. If I've seen one of these before, it was a long time ago. In fact, is that actually no K8U-X, I believe. This is a very strange font that Asus used. Yeah, almost certainly is a K8U-X actually. What's this graphics card we have? Well, this is an NVIDIA card. Ace of Clubs thing, yeah. I do know who this manufacturer is, I just can't quite remember. It skipped my mind today. Yeah, just a part number on there. What is this? Well, it's this one, so NVIDIA model P 508 or 50B, probably 508. Yeah, 508. That doesn't really mean anything to me. CGN GS766 doesn't really mean a great deal to me, so I'm sure we will find out shortly what this thing is. Some of you are screaming at the screen right now, so you know already. Is this worth anything or not? We'll also find out. Let's see if this motherboard has any shorts, but I will actually replace the capacitors before I try to power it up. While I was just getting my multimeter, I recall now that that thing is Club 3D. Yeah, Club 3D. We make those Ace of Club logo graphics cards. There's no short on the 12 volt, so we know there's no high side MOSFET shorted. I'll remove the heatsink and fan, and straight away now, you know, it's been staring me in the face that he's not a P4 at all. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes these heatsinks look similar. Right, so this is an XP machine, say Athlon XP. Let's try this. I don't have the graphics card in at the moment. It does have the RAM in. We can see the analyzer card here. Okay, so what does it do? Well, it boots to some point, seems to stop. Will it switch off using the switch? Yes, it will. Go again. Yeah, it gets to the same point. Let me just put the graphics card in. I don't hear any bleeping coming out, but that's not normally the code I would expect to say there's no graphics card. I'd expect to be, probably. Stick that in there, see if it makes any difference, okay? So once again, D4. I don't think it's getting as far as looking for this. Maybe this one is to do with the RAM. So if there's no RAM, or we can't see any RAM, usually C0, C1. I've got a feeling D4 might be that it knows the RAM's there, but then the RAM fails when it tests it. These are very sticky, they didn't come out very nicely. Probably wants a good clean. Let's try this. So this gives different codes. I mean, it depends on the BIOS. Different BIOSes work different ways. So 67 is the code it's giving with no RAM. If you watch the channel, you know what these old boards are, C0 or C1. Yeah. I'll give these slots a clean. Okay, we'll try just inserting and removing it several times. That didn't go in very nicely, really. I like to hear a good click when I push these in. Better. Once more. Okay. Let's try it with one strip of RAM. D4. I'll try the other one. I've given this a bit of more of a clean than I did the other dim. Let's try it. Let's see how that works. Doesn't see that one or doesn't like it. Again. I'm not sure what this code actually means. What sort of BIOS do we have? Well, there's no label on it, so we can't say like a Ward or anything else really. Phoenix. See if we can get any sense out of this. So D4. Returning to real mode, executing any OEM patches and setting the stack. Okay. That's the only code we have at all for D4. and that is for AMI BIOS. What was the code without the RAM in? Let's just check it. Is it D something or other? Let's have a quick look. B7. Okay. So we can identify anything from that. Well, B7 doesn't really say anything. That's Phoenix Tandy. Initializing ACPI BIOS. I'll just put this back in again. I've noticed I forgot to attach the Molex connector to it previously. See if this makes any difference. But I would have thought if it was a graphics card problem, I would get some bleeps out of this. Okay, power on. Start. Just sitting on D4. Okay. And here's one of my known good ones, although these capacitors actually look a bit dodgy on this, but this is known to be working. Club 3D, actually the same brand. You can see the logo again there. Yeah. Bit of a coincidence that. Alright, so what do you think of this one? Back to this same code. Okay, I'll put the analyzer in a different slot. This is a PCI graphics card. Does this do anything different? Possibly, yes. D0. Without it. D4. Interesting. Another PCI. This is handy because it has both DVI and VGA, so I can actually capture from this easily. Okay. What's this do? Back to D4. So, doesn't like this card for some reason. I mean, this may be faulty. I thought it was a good one. I think with this, let's try, if we can just see maybe reseating the CPU, or if I have another suitable CPU. The other option is, can we get a BIOS? Yeah. We have the CPU then. What is this thing? A3000 Sempron, okay, 3000 plus, I guess, something like that. Just reset the CPU, see if that helps us at all. Ah, aha, okay, looks much more promising. How about this thing? Okay, I've attached the DVI adapter on there so we can see maybe if the capture card will pick this up. Start it again, it is booting. Bleep, good. And we have a picture. Right, let's attach the hard drive and the keyboard. Let's see if this has an operating system on there. Start again. Gives a picture. So let's see what it's saying. Press F1 to run setup. Okay. Got the hard drive, set up defaults, okay, exit and save, okay, let's see. Okay, so this seems to be working. There was some of this stuff on here, so I'm not going to mess around with it. You know, all these hard drives with personal information on, but that's what I'm getting all the time, okay? I mean, admittedly, it's probably old information, but that isn't really the point, yeah. So let's have a look to see what we've got, and let's see if this thing is actually of any value. I tend to find these Athlon XP or Sempron, whatever they are, machines are not of any great interest on the retro market, but then sometimes Asus is. And let's see what this graphics card is as well. So the motherboard, Asus K8U-X, one for sale there, says brand new, £50. I think it's in its box actually, yeah, with its manual. A rare one, that one's rare for £75. Maybe it's rare because it doesn't have its box and manual. I don't know. What do you guys think? One's for sale at 31, 41, 31, 33. So 30 to £40 seems to be the asking price for the main part. How about the selling price? So we're in sold listings only, search. £38.20 plus postage. So one actually sold with pretty much the same CPU as mine, as I think. Okay, bit of RAM. So yeah, about £40, which is just what I thought on this one. How about the graphics card? So this is a CGN GS 766. It's like a 7600 CS or GT or something like that. Yeah, let's have a look. Seeing as we are in the sold listings, we may as well stay here for now and put it in. So CGN-GS 7600 GS, is it this sort of thing? Well, nothing comes from that. Let's go back into the normal listings, not sold. Let's have a look here. And then we can always Google for this number. So CGN-GS 766. Finds nothing again. Okay, let's try Google. Oh, it's 7600 GT. That's what I was thinking, yeah. 7600 GT, that's what it actually is. So let's go and try this in eBay. Nvidia. I do think these are rare or valuable actually. Yeah, look at that, see, £11.59. I mean, that isn't worth anything. It looks a bit impressive, but it's not of any value. Okay, well, I paid €20 for the whole machine, so yeah, it wasn't bad, it wasn't brilliant. Let's see what else we have here. And here we have something different. So this one is an AT machine, on-off switch, power turbo hard disk. This Alyo or Alya or Alpha or whatever this strange logo is supposed to be. Okay. Not the tidiest thing, extremely dusty, at least on the outside. So that's what we have. This fell inside it, there's a bit of rust and such like. Oh, it's a little volume control on. Yeah, I remember having sound cards, games put with a volume control on. I've not seen that for ages. Okay, I remember having that. So obviously an AT machine, that's going to be like a Pentium 1 or earlier than that. I have so many of these machines before that are effectively the Pentium socket 7. I'm probably going to say it is a socket 7 machine, but you know, a bit of anybody's guess this one. But we do have to guess. So Pentium socket 7, you guys guess. Yeah, what do you think? In the meantime, let's open it up and have a look. And is it cleaner on the inside? This is on the outside, as most of this dust stayed out of it. That's another good question. I mean, what is this stuff? It's like cement. There's a cement factory on the island, by the way. They make cement here and ship it out on big cargo ships. So cement, one of the ingredients is like some sort of volcanic, like a pumice type stuff, and this being a volcanic island, this is where you find it, so they actually quarry that mineral and make cement. And this is what we have. This is older. This is older. Look, Sims, this would be like 8 meg, or if they were really wealthy, 32 meg. Yeah, probably 8 meg. Oh, this is like Texas Instruments 486. Yeah. Sorry guys, wrong camera there. I was looking at the wrong monitor. So basically, I wasn't looking at the same image you were looking at. This is the motherboard then. So as I say, Texas Instruments TX486 DLC. You know, this isn't like a 486. I think this is more like a 386. Yeah, looks as here 80386. So this is basically a 386, or like a supercharged 386 machine, rather than a 486 machine, if that makes any sense. Guys, please discuss that. But this thing is disgusting, by the way, inside. This effectively is that. I have another motherboard like this with an AMD processor, and I believe this is the co-processor, so the AMD one I have is basically the same. You know, I think it's AMD. It's actually maybe the same as this one, thinking about it now. That is a complete machine in a good case, so I keep that one. These don't have electrolytic capacitors, notice, because there's no VRMs on these things, okay. These batteries leak badly. This one hasn't done, that's a surprise, but whether this is working or not, I will test it, but I will then remove the battery, because if it hasn't leaked out already, it probably will. Huge amount of dust in this, as I said before. Sound card, absolutely disgusting, but it is a Creative Labs one. Oh yeah, look, see, original CT1600 Sound Blaster ISA card. I'm going to guess this is worth about £50, something like that. Could be wrong, you guys could be right, but that's my guess. We'll look later. I'll just try to clean these a little bit. So I've brushed the dust off it. This will have to go into the sink. That's the only way I'm going to get this clean. Put it in the sink. I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, but doesn't really need that. Sink with a bit of hand wash. In the public toilets and the shopping centre, that's where I cleaned them. But probably working in a nice sound card, I think. Multi-IO card, again covered in the same stuff. ISA graphics card, and quite a chunky one actually. Looks like Western Digital. No, not WTC Western Digital, is it? Let me just clean this up a little bit. Okay, so again, that's come up better than the sound card did. IPC9206, if that means anything. WDC, WD90C11. Okay, no other markings on it. It's almost like a SLI adapter. I don't for 1 minute believe that's what it is, but it sort of looks a bit like one. Music. Music. On the graphics card. Okay. So we have that graphics card. And an old Connor hard drive. 1994, I think. 30 years old, this one. CFS or CPS 420A. Probably a 420 meg. I mean, that's probably about the right size for that era, but that's a sort of a guess. That's megabytes, not gigabytes. Yeah. Yeah, again, 24 of the 5th, 94. So almost 30 years to the day, this one, okay? I've only ever found a couple of these that actually work of this vintage. Usually they just seem to be completely seized up. I've never really tried to repair one, I will say, but the odd ones that I found that do work sound absolutely glorious, yeah, when they're running. So on that basis, let's try and power this thing up and see if anything happens or hopefully anything nice happens, yeah, but we will see. So I guess really there's 3 possibilities here. Nothing happens, something happens but it doesn't work, something happens and it's bad, or something happens and it works, yeah. So I think that's about the top and bottom of it. I'll just get this, and these are a bit tight to fit isochords. I've noticed how stiff they are to get into the slots. Okay, so we'll try it just like that for now. We need a power supply. Okay, so we'll put the monitor onto VGA. This is how I was using the wrong camera, by the way. I was looking at this one, not the recording machine. I do it occasionally, unfortunately. Silly mistake, but there we go. Right, so I've attached the graphics card, I've attached the monitor, it's on VGA. I'm going to switch this on. The power supply is on, nothing visible is going to happen on here, there's no fans or anything, but we have a blue light and we have a picture. Yeah, look at that, 30 years old. Okay, CMOS battery's flat. Let's get a keyboard. I don't have a suitable mouse for this. We'll put the hard drive on. So I'll have to attach the Super IO card, this thing. Okay, so this is the hard drive controller, separate plug-in card. Let's see if we can get this thing to actually boot. I think by this era, these hard drives will auto-detect in the BIOS. When I was first building PCs, but that was around 93 to 94, you had to manually put the heads and cylinders into the BIOS, it wouldn't detect. So let's see what this one does. Assuming, of course, that the hard drive works at all. Okay, power on. Oh, listen. Oh, look at that, guys. What do we have? We have standard CMOS settings. Escape. Auto detect hard disk. So it does see the hard drive. That's interesting. I think you can tell it to skip all the other ones actually, because there is only one drive on here. Does it eventually come back and say there isn't one? It's a long time since I've used a BIOS like this. Okay, 1993 BIOS. Didn't find it. Accept, yes. Okay. Right to CMOS and exit. Okay, so let's see what this actually does. Is there a option to auto configuration with BIOS defaults? Yes. Press the key. Again, I think it's already got the hard disk. Yes. And then we can escape the other ones. Right to CMOS and exit. Okay. What we got? Driver. So it sees the hard drive but doesn't seem to work. Yeah, I don't think I did anything wrong there. I'm pretty sure that detected correctly. Just go again to be sure. 40 megahertz CPU. Again, I hear like a little click from the hard drive and then it sort of doesn't see it. CX, like Cyrix, yeah, Cyrix 486. Okay, sure that's got a Texas Instruments symbol on it. Try to get into the BIOS with the delete key. I'm just struggling to get into the BIOS. F1, there we go. So it sees the hard drive, it knows the hard drive's there. Oh, look at this calendar, look at this. Wow. 8 meg of RAM, 8 meg, yeah, 8 meg, not 8 gig. Okay. Hot disk utility, what's this? Oh, I can format it. I don't want to do anything like that with it. Media analysis. Will that wipe it anyway? I'm not going to mess with that. Yeah, a little click from the hard drive. Yeah, so this hard drive doesn't work, unfortunately. That's a bit of a shame. I hoped it would. I mean, it sounds like it's resetting, but no, it's having none of it. Okay, so is it worth anything? I'm going to say yes, it is. Okay. No model number on this. That's normal for this sort of vintage. There was probably something in the BIOS ident, but I didn't note it down. Somebody out there probably did and knows exactly what this is. This is the maths coprocessor I mentioned. Okay, so TX486 DLC. I'm going to put that plus motherboard. It's a bit generic, and let's see what we find. Well, mine's sort of like that. That's just the processor. Mine's the 40 megahertz, not the 25. Okay. Interesting. Let's go into advanced. Let's see if there's any market for these things. Well, there is. Oh, that's kind of like a complete setup similar to mine. Different graphics card maybe. These have sold. These have sold. 2 of them sold there. That's for parts only. That was offer. We don't know what the offer was. That's parts only. Parts only. Parts only. So most of these are going parts only. Another working one, but that's an Intel. So mine is very much like these. And that's what they're worth. And we can't argue with that. Okay, that includes the sound card. Graphics cards, it gives any information on what was with it. It's not a creative sound card, I don't think. 2 mega RAM, mine's got 8, I know that much, but I'm not sure that makes a big difference. Yeah. Corroded, yeah, mine isn't corroded. Yeah. Sold. Graphics card, well, we know it works. I'm not sure what this actually is. I don't know if that number would tell us anything. Let's have a quick look. Possibly with a space. Nope. Go with the number on the chipset. WD90C11. It's -LR, but let's just try that. That. VGA Legacy, that's it. Well, it's the same chipset as that. Yeah, it looks like that as well. It's that one, yeah, with the switch here. It's that one. So this is a Western Digital that. Who cares what it says on it? Okay. There's some on offer. Very similar to mine. Again, anybody bought any of these things? No. No, not the same. But I think somewhere in that region it's worth. The multi-IO, I think these things are like about £20. DLU270, we can have a quick look. Gold Star multi-IO, DLU270. Again, that's an asking price. Nothing comes up. Sold. And lastly, the sound card. I've not tested this, but in my experience, these things are almost always working. I think I've only ever found one that didn't work. So, CT1600, which is a Sound Blaster Pro 2. Okay, let's see. Creative is one of these brands that people seem to collect. CT1600. Go. Well, again, somebody's asking £138, £105. These are the ask prices. There's more of a possibility I might find some sales of these. I don't. So that was over to you guys. What do you think the sound card's worth? Assuming it is working, it probably is. Let's just try Sound Blaster Pro 2, just out of interest. Pro 2, okay. Oh, now we see. So £70, one sold in April, okay. One had the box and actually sold for £175.70. Okay. Another one sold for 47, so price kind of a bit over the place. 72 again. Look at that boxed. Wow. This was in May this year. 95, one sold. So that isn't the same as mine. It's a different model. That is the same as mine, but looks slightly different. I'm just looking at the position of this regulator here. Looks a little bit different on mine. And yeah, there's some slight differences between that one and this one. Notably that regulator is mounted in a different position or different direction, different orientation, that was the word. So, you know, I think given the motherboard, the graphics card and the multi-IO and the sound card, I could have, what do you think guys, 300 maybe, somewhere in that region here? Let me know what you think, yeah, down there. Certainly this one was a bargain for €20, and it seems I do find machines like this, maybe not quite as old, and this is not as old as that 286, but this is definitely probably the next oldest one I've found, and I have a similar machine like this which I kept for myself. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Another walk down memory lane. I look forward to seeing you all soon on another Learn Electronics repair video. Ciao for now guys.